And we all have that experience that we don't know what we're thinking until we say it. So what Newman and I did, again, because we were looking at therapy with adults, what makes therapy work, this particular therapy, if it's based on the idea that people are not expressing their thoughts, and if what the goal is to create a zone of proximal development or a zone of emotional development where people can grow emotionally by creating the group, and in the creating of the group, they create the result of the group, which is their growth, okay? Maybe, just maybe, you don't have to be your own completer. Maybe someone else can complete your thought. It's amazing. It excites me to think about that as a discovery, psychological discovery. Maybe, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Are you hungry? Baba. Oh, you want your bottle? Maybe we can describe that as a language game in which creative imitation and completion are going on. So on the one hand, you could say that Baba is the completion of the baby's thought, but you could also say that, oh, do you want your bottle, is the completion of the baby's thought by the mother. Completion doesn't mean reading someone's mind. It means taking it further. It means, if you will, to use the language of improvisers, it's the and of yes and. It's the adding on, it's the creating with language. So mother and baby are creating the zone of proximal development for a speaker, and they're simultaneously creating the result of creating the zone, which is the speaker. Move to the first quote. I have no idea where I am.
20 minutes
Okay.
or something?
Thank you. First quote, in play a child always behaves beyond his average age, above his daily behavior. In play, it is as though he were a head taller than himself. Head taller. Very interesting. Head taller. How do you create the head taller experience? You relate to people not just as who they are. If mothers related to babies as who they are, they would never get to grow. If you related to the baby as a non-speaker, you wouldn't be having these conversations. We don't have to think about it, we just do it. So you're relating, the language that I've chosen for this is that Vygotsky gives us a way into a new psychology that is about becoming. Relating to people as who they are and simultaneously as other than who they are. Relating to the baby as a baby who babbles, doesn't understand English, Korean, French, whatever it is, and simultaneously as a creature who does, as a human being who does. The dialectic of being and becoming. He didn't talk this way. I have no idea if that's what he was thinking, but certainly you can find in his writings either individual phrases or sentences or pages, and the totality, it's consistent. And whether or not, I don't know if that matters, if that's what it's led to as one of the many things it's led to. So, it's going to sound more coherent than it actually was in its history. That's partly what language does, is it glosses over stuff. I don't know how to say it differently. Simultaneous to these intellectual discoveries and looking at social therapy and seeing people completing each other as part of their creating their environment for relating to their emotions in different ways. Second, where in life, besides in babyhood, are you related to as who you are and who you're not at the same time? Or who you are and who you're becoming? Or who you are and who you're, and other than who you are? Well, it turns out on the stage. Actors on the stage, whether they're 4-year-olds or 6-year-olds in a little school play, or professionals, relate to themselves and we relate to them as who they are and other than who they are, as the character they're playing and as them. I mean, we suspend the themness of it. Don't run on to the little auditorium stage in your child's school and grab him or her off and say, what are you doing in that costume? You know, that's not you. And we don't relate to our kids' play and tell them to stop it. Of course, we do once they get to school, which is unfortunate. So that's so interesting. What do we call that? Well, we call it performing. We call it performing on the stage. So then I went back and really examined not very much that Vygotsky wrote about play. And if you look at what he wrote about free play or pretend play, which are the words that he gave to that early child play, he said that. And he said it's the child's highest level of development. That play also creates his own approximal development. In play, you can perform beyond yourself or a head taller. So then what is it about play? Why does play create a ZPD? Well, it creates a ZPD for very similar reasons to what I was saying earlier about the creative imitation and completion. And the allowance of imagination to dominate in play. So this led us to see performance, the capacity to perform, as an overlooked, if you will, human capacity, overlooked in psychology, overlooked in education, and in practice pretty much stifled in our contemporary culture. Ironically, it's by performing, doing what you don't know how to do, the baby talking, the baby drawing pictures, doing what you don't know how to do as part of your everyday life is how you learn when you're little. And it helps you become adapted to behaving in the correct manner of your culture. But we don't allow children or ourselves to continue to do what we don't know how to do in that way.